Hello, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I'll be reviewing Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood came out several years after the original, and apparently it was an adaptation of the main plot. However, is it any good? Is it better than the original? Well, today I'll be introducing Brotherhood. Fullmetal Alchemist, the one that follows the main plot of the creator's idea. Let's go.
That sense of mercy is about to get you in a lot of trouble.
When the story starts us off, besides how the original did, it's set in Central, and there's a traitor in the military that tries to cause chaos in the capital. Ed and Al tries to stop him, though he is killed by the Führer, and thus a bit of plot will come towards Ed and Al's way, as they meet new characters and find stuff about the military and their country, which this traitor told them about. The plot follows some of the original anime, and then it follows the rest of the book. I can say the openings and endings in this anime had some great and good ones. Though the soundtrack in the show, it was okay. It may have had maybe a few that I liked, but it just wasn't as good as the original soundtrack from the original show. I just think the original had better music. This has okay music. Obviously the animation is way better. Edward, Eric, Alphonse, and most of the characters are really detailed nicely. Their animation, good action scenes, etc. Now, like the original, there's not much I'm going to go on about the characters because most of the original characters that you know and love come back, but have bigger roles. But some characters like May's huge. The original really did a good job with his character. That you got to know more, but in here, it's really not that much. It's very quick. You don't get that full attachment like you did in the original, so that is one problem. That's why I always advise watch the original before Brotherhood, then you understand his character. But obviously characters like Winry have big moments in this show. Now for her, we get more detail about her parents' death. Now in the original it was different, but in here, and obviously it follows the creator's original idea, it is different how her parents died. And I actually like this one better, and who the killer was. Ed and Al's father also has a bigger role than the original, with how things played out, and then we get new characters that are interesting, with their own personalities and how they act, and if they're going to help the heroes or not. But most of the time they do help the heroes and journey on with them. Now for the villains, we do get most of the original back. However, there are a few new additions, like Pride and Sloth. Now, a little spoiler alert for the original. In the original, the Führer was Pride, but in here he is Wrath. But we also get a little more information about the Führer. Even Greed has a bigger role than in the original, but it plays out very different for his character. But the thing is, I don't want to go into too much detail about these characters, otherwise it will just spoil it completely. I'll just say they have their different roles, and some of the villains, especially Lust, doesn't have as much of a time as the original did. But I gotta say, Greed in here was really badass. I won't say, but you'll have to watch to find out. And I gotta say, Pride is probably the most annoying villain character in this show. Now, the main villain is the father, who created the homunculi, but Pride is just... you just kind of want to... I mean, Father is annoying too, but I don't know, something about Pride. Another character that we also get introduced to, a badass, Mira Armstrong, Alex Louis Armstrong's oldest sister. She strikes fear into her foes and basically can beat her younger brother, Alex. He may look big, but she's the oldest out of the siblings. Most of the time she's mostly mad and angry, and can really make Ed pee his pants, if so. But she does care for her soldiers a lot. Not to mention another original character, Barry the Chopper. He also has more of a bigger role in this as well. He has more of a screen time than he did in the original. I mean, most of these characters are going to get more detail because this is the main idea that the creator made. And I gotta tell you, it's really a great story. I mean, I do regret that I wish some of the original material from the original anime that didn't follow it all the way could have been in here. The problem that I have with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is that it goes, I think, a little bit too fast at the beginning. Obviously, 2 animes that I can mention have this issue, even though I won't let it bother me of the show. And actually, the final act kind of had that. The first episode of Hellsing Ultimate did as well. Brotherhood also kind of suffers with this. But basically, they just expect you watch the original. So that's why they sped it up. Now, as for my enjoyment, well, I'm going to tell you this, it's kind of a weird experience. I kind of took my time watching it. Before I even watched Brotherhood, I did see this on Toonami a few times, though I didn't see it a lot. By the time it got pushed back, obviously I couldn't watch it anymore. Then in 2012, I did get into the original, and then later I did follow up with Brotherhood, and I took my bloody time watching Brotherhood. When I got close to the end on Netflix, they didn't have the rest of the episodes, which was very disappointing. In the end, I really liked Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It obviously exceeds the original, though it does have a bit of a flaw with it, like character development from the original cast, at least few, but not too much. I mean, if you watch the original, you understand. However, though, I love the series. I mean, the characters is really what makes this show bright. The story too. And this show really had some awesome action scenes, epicness, yeah. And yes, it is better than the original. There is another issue I had with Brotherhood. There was one thing that happened in the original that actually happened in the book, but they didn't add it in, sadly. It was the introduction of Roy Mustang. In here, it is very different, and it's kind of I don't know what to say. Not as cool as the original, and that was the train part. Yet they took that all out, which is a shame. But overall, I freaking liked it. However, there's also some quick OVAs of the characters, and it kind of brings more out these characters and their past. And I would advise watch those too, because you get a little more of their backstories.
No, Latman!
Well, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood exceeds a lot, yes, from the original. It does have its flaws with certain pacing and some characters not having more screen time, while others do. But still, it followed the main plot, and it's actually a better conclusion than the original. And yeah, it does have some moments, I will say, that were kind of a bit like, what? And a little more of weird stuff. However, besides that, it's still an awesome anime. So overall, it's going to get a 9.5 out of 10. It is awesome leading up to Excelente. I would definitely say check it out. If you like the Fullmetal Alchemist series, you will love this. Exceeds a lot. And yeah, you get a nice conclusion to the series. Now my recommendation, I can recommend the movie set during Brotherhood, and that is The Sacred Star of Milos. A lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. I don't care what people say about it. The animation's different, but it's still good. Not to mention, again, the OVAs. Though it does have a little bit of flaws, of certain things that happen, it's still way awesome. Well, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews, signing off.